Hey everyone, and welcome. If you're gearing up for your CA inter-auditing paper, you know there are some topics that are just, well, they're guaranteed marks, but only if you really get them. Today, we're going to build the perfect exam blueprint for audit strategy, planning, and program. So get ready because we're about to make this crystal clear.
Okay, let's just jump right in with a question that seems super simple, and I'm telling you, this is a classic ICII trap. Audit strategy versus audit plan. Are they the same thing? So many students use these words like they mean the same thing, and that's exactly where you can lose easy, straightforward marks. By the time we're done here, you will never ever mix these two up again.
All right, just imagine this popping up in your exam. You're put in charge of a massive first-time audit for a huge manufacturing company. We're talking thousands of transactions, complex inventory, multiple locations. It's just pure chaos, right? Where do you even start? Well, the answer isn't to just jump in and start checking things. The answer is what we're talking about today. It's all about creating the map before you even think about starting the journey.
So here's our game plan for the next few minutes. We're going to start with the why. Why planning is non-negotiable. Then we'll break down the what, that's the big picture strategy. After that, we'll get into the how, the nitty-gritty of the detailed plan. We'll nail down the key differences between all three terms, touch on quality, and then we'll apply it all to some classic IKI questions. Let's do this.
So really, why can't we just show up on day one and start asking for vouchers? This first section is all about why planning isn't just a nice to have, it's the absolute foundation of any professional and efficient audit. This is the whole point of SA 300.
Now, here's the first thing you have to lock in your memory. According to SA 300, planning is not a one-time thing you do at the start and then forget about. ICAI loves to ask about this. You have to remember it's a continuous and iterative process. It's something that can change and evolve as you learn more about the client. And the goal? It's simple. Be effective in your work, be efficient with your time, and get it done on schedule.
And why do we bother with all this planning? Well, look at the benefits. Good planning means you're focusing your time and energy on the important, high-risk areas. It helps you spot potential problems before they become huge disasters. It's about organizing the whole engagement properly, picking the right people for your team, telling them what to do, supervising their work, and even coordinating with other experts. These aren't just textbook points. This is what stops an audit from going completely off the rails. All right, on to our second section. Let's start building that map. And the first piece is the overall audit strategy. If planning is the why, then the strategy is the what. This is your big picture 30,000-foot view of the entire audit. Think of it like planning a big trip. Before you figure out every single road you're going to take, you first decide where are we going, how long will it take, and what's the general route. That's your audit strategy. It sets the overall scope, the timing, and the direction of the audit. This high-level thinking is what guides you when you start drawing the detailed map, which, you guessed it, is the audit plan. Now, pay attention here because this is a huge favorite for ICAI questions. What factors do you need to establish your strategy? You've got to know these 5. First, what's the nature of the engagement? What accounting framework are they using? Second, what are the reporting deadlines? Third, what are the significant factors? Where are the big risks? Fourth, what did we learn from any preliminary work or maybe last year's audit? And finally, what resources do we need? How many people, what skills, and when do we need them?
Okay, so we've got our big picture strategy. We know where we're going. Now it's time to zoom in on the details. Section 3 is all about the audit plan. And if the strategy was the what, the plan is the how. This is where we get down to business.
So the audit plan takes that high-level strategy and turns it into actual concrete steps. The key acronym to remember here is NTE, nature, timing, and extent. The plan needs to spell out the nature of the procedures we'll do, like risk assessments, the timing of those procedures, when will we do them, and the extent, how much checking is enough. This is basically the detailed operational schedule for the entire audit team.
Okay, everybody, this is it. This is the moment of truth. Section 4 is where we put everything side by side, so there is absolutely no more confusion. You need to pay super close attention here because getting the difference between strategy, plan, and program right is absolutely critical for scoring well.
Let's just look at this head-to-head. The strategy is broad, it's the what. The plan is detailed, it's the how. It lays out the specific nature, timing, and extent of our work. The strategy guides the plan, and the plan is born from the strategy. Here's a great way to think about it. The strategy is the architect's overall blueprint, but the plan is the builder's detailed day-by-day construction schedule. This table right here, that's your must-know summary for the exam. And this quote right here is so important because it highlights a really smart point. Don't think of this as step 1, finish the strategy, then step 2, start the plan. No, no, no. They're totally interconnected. For example, maybe while making the detailed plan, you realize you need a specialist. Well, that discovery might force you to go back and change your resource allocation in the overall strategy. They're constantly influencing each other. So that leaves one more term, the audit program. What's that? Well, this is the most zoomed-in, granular level of all. If the plan says we need to verify fixed assets, the program says, step 1, get the fixed asset register. Step 2, physically check these 5 specific machines. Step 3, recalculate the depreciation. It is the step-by-step instruction manual that you hand to the team to actually go and do the work. It's the ultimate to-do list. Now, an audit program has its pros and cons. On the plus side, it gives everyone clear instructions. You know who's responsible for what, and it serves as proof of the work done. But there's a downside. It can become really mechanical, Team members might just check boxes without thinking. It can kill their initiative, and it can be way too rigid if something unexpected comes up.
And here is your golden exam tip. If ICAI asks how you overcome those disadvantages, this is the answer you give. The solution isn't to just throw away the program. It's about managing it smartly. You have to encourage your team to think, to be objective, and most importantly, to speak up and bring any weird issues they find to their supervisor. That way, the program stays a helpful tool, not a restrictive cage.
Look, you can have the most brilliant strategy and the most detailed plan in the world, but they're completely useless if the actual work isn't done right. So this section covers 2 things that are absolutely critical for quality: proper supervision and solid documentation. Quality control really comes down to 2 main things. First, there's direction. That's just making sure everyone on the team knows what they're supposed to be doing. Then there's supervision. That's tracking their progress, helping them solve problems, and reviewing their work. And always remember, at the end of the day, the buck stops with the engagement partner. They have the overall responsibility for all of this. You've heard the saying in auditing, if it's not documented, it didn't happen. Well, it's true. The standards say you must document 3 things. 1, your overall strategy. 2, your detailed audit plan. And 3, this is the one people always forget, any significant changes you made to either the strategy or the plan, along with why you made those changes. Miss this, and it's a big problem. All right, that's enough theory. Now it's time for the fun part, putting all this knowledge into practice. In our final section, we're going to look at a classic exam-style scenario and see how these concepts actually work in the real world. Let's see if you can spot the issue here. Okay, here's the situation. CA Kartik is auditing a company, and he needs to test their internal controls. To make sure he catches them off guard, he just shows up at their office completely unannounced, demanding to see records to create a surprise element. Now, based on everything we've talked about, what do you think? Is this approach proper? And the answer is absolutely not proper. While there is a time and place for surprise checks, the main goal of planning is to conduct an efficient and timely audit. Discussing parts of your plan with the client, like telling them you're coming to test controls next week, actually helps the audit. It lets them get the right people and documents ready for you. It doesn't hurt the audit. It actually helps it run way more smoothly. So let's wrap this all up. Here's your final rapid-fire revision checklist for the exam. 1. Planning is continuous. It's not a one-time phase. 2. Strategy is the high-level what. 3. The plan is the detailed how, describing the NTE of your procedures. 4. Strategy and plan are deeply interrelated, not separate steps. And 5. Document everything, your strategy, your plan, and any big changes. If you can master these 5 points, you have mastered this chapter. You officially have the blueprint.